Alright, so this is the MSI Clutch GM41 lightweight wireless gaming mouse, which happens to be one of the very first products that I got to review from MSI on this channel, and also as a matter of fact, it's the second mouse review on this channel courtesy of me. So does this mouse really deserve your attention or something you should consider in 2022? Well, that's what you're here for, so let's cut the chase and dive right in. So the MSI GM41 wireless is being offered at a price of around 5,000 Indian rupees, which is quite a bit more than its US pricing of around $50. And at that price point, you're getting the mouse itself, a wired charging dock with the USB receiver, and a 2 meter long braided USB cable that can be used to connect either the mouse or the dock. But something that really broke my heart here is the fact that the other end of the cable is a micro USB. It's almost the end of 2022 and they're still using micro USB. Someone please send help to MSI, they really need it. Now aside from that, the cable quality is fairly good. It's slim and braided, but the way this connects to the charging dock is definitely something to talk about. Now if you ask me personally, I'd say that I did run into some issues trying to get this inserted inside the dock for the very first time. And well, now that it's inside, I don't think it will come off that easily, so it's quite a snug fit. And this one also doesn't wobble on your desk, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's really a good to have, I guess. And by the way, whoever came up with the design of this dock, hats off to you. When you have the mouse on the charging dock, it basically gives you a showcase vibe if you're into that. So yeah, it looks cool and definitely a head turner. Another thing is that you don't need to connect the receiver to the PC. You can have it connected to the dock and it works fine just like that. Honestly, I feel that this is the wiser choice to me. Alright, now let's come to the star of our show, the GM41 itself. Apparently, if you don't take a closer look at the mouse, it seems like an ambidextrous mouse with its almost symmetrical design, which sadly it isn't because the side navigation buttons are present only on the left-hand side. So it's basically for right-handed people only. Taking a look at the underside of the mouse, here's where you'll find the on-off switch to the left-hand side, and the right button is for DPI adjustment to toggle between DPIs of 400 to 6400, the default being 1600. Now, I am definitely not a fan of the position of the DPI button. The scenarios where you mostly need the DPI switch is when you're playing FPS titles, and I can't imagine being in a tournament amidst a sniping session and having to flip around the mouse to change the sensitivity. So yeah, having the DPI button on the top of this mouse would have made much more sense in this case at least. But I don't think we have any other choice but wait till MSI finds this to be a much more worthy inclusion in the future, so that's that. So to continue on the underside of the GM41, here's where you'll find the Pixart PAW3370 optical sensor that provides up to 20,000 dpi in sensitivity, although realistically I haven't found anywhere above 4,000 to be useful to me at least. And at the very bottom, here's where you'll find the two gold contact points which align with the pins of your dock to charge the mouse. Now MSI claims that you get almost 80 hours of battery life with this particular mouse, which I personally never got a chance to test out. But let's talk about some realistic figures in my opinion. So when I was gaming on this mouse for about an hour for the last couple of days and checked the battery, I found that it dropped to around 90%, and this was done with the RGB switched on. And I should also mention here that I didn't turn off the mouse when I went to sleep, so it stayed on overnight. But the thing is that the GM41 actually turns off the RGB lighting when not in use for a long time, and that actually helps saving the battery. So if you ask me how long it takes for this mouse to charge from 0 to 100, I would say it's around 2 hours or so, which is still pretty good. And you have to remember that this is not a smartphone, so don't expect some crazy charging times from this and you should be good for the most part. Next, let's come to the build quality of this mouse. Now this is where I have some really weird things to talk about. The GM41 is a lightweight gaming mouse weighing only 74 grams. And at that weight point, the build quality seems pretty fine to me at least. But I don't know if it's a problem with my unit or in general, but these side buttons feel really flimsy. They are not that tactile like the left and right click buttons, which I would have loved to see here. The switches used in the GM41 are from Omron, which are rated for 60 million clicks, so that's really good. Aside from the side buttons, the other ones feel very clicky with low travel distance during the clicks, and I found the clicks to be precise and not like the infamous double clicks that we are used to from a certain other brand. Thankfully this one hasn't experienced it so far. Next we come to the scroll wheel, and here also no complaints from my side. The texture is very good on the wheel and feels precise when we use it. However, the wheel is a tad bit recessed in my opinion, which however makes no compromise to its functionality, so not at all a concern here. So overall, if I were to rate this particular mouse based on its build quality, I would say it's a solid 7 out of 10, which is still pretty good. Now how about we take a listen to how this mouse sounds like. Alright, now let's talk about the ergonomics of this mouse. Now I'm a person who uses a palm grip on his mice, and as far as the GM41 is concerned, I kind of had some mixed opinions about this one. It's a tad bit longer at the back and the hump is also not that much pronounced, and for this reason, I found quite a bit of my palm outside of the mouse when I was using it. Initially, I thought that this mouse might turn out to be quite uncomfortable for me, but surprisingly this did not happen, and I really had a good time with the mouse playing FPS titles, and the PixArt sensor was also quite accurate in tracking my movements. Although this is a wireless mouse, I used it in both wired and wireless mode, and honestly the way this mouse has been tuned is excellent. You'll not be able to notice any latency during gaming. Other than that, the mouse glides along perfectly on my desk, all thanks to these 6 PTFE skates, and these also help a lot during gaming. And the added textures on the right and the left sides of the mouse also gives the GM41 a strong grip during gaming. And so ergonomic wise, the GM41 scores a solid 8 out of 10. And finally, let's talk about that one thing that we gamers love on our peripherals, the RGB. The GM41 has only one RGB LED on the logo and it's very bright, to be honest. Had to tone it down a bit through the MSI Center software, but it's definitely nothing to complain about. Connecting the mouse to the MSI Center during the first time will require you to connect only in the wired mode, and this is also a requirement when you are updating the firmware of your mouse. From the MSI Center, you will be able to remap your buttons, create game profiles, etc. Although the only point of concern here is the Mystic-like synchronization, where I personally felt that the software was kind of buggy and definitely deserved more attention from the devs. You can choose any color you want through the color wheel along with the effects, but here are a couple of colors which would simply not show up no matter how much I tried. Like orange, for example. Dear Mystic Light, how is this color orange to you? So by now you might be thinking that I'm ranting a bit too much and also nitpicking a lot for this mouse and its software. So apologies right up front if you thought like that, but no, that is not the case. In fact, this mouse was really impressive, and the way it performed during gaming and the way it was designed by MSI, that is really quite impressive. So if you're among those people who have a budget of around 5,000 Indian rupees and you're looking for this mouse, I would say that you can definitely have this in your radar, and unless you find something impressive like a good deal on a top tier mouse at that price point, you can definitely buy this mouse and be happy. So that's all I can say. So anyways, if you want to purchase this mouse, I have my Amazon affiliate links down in the video description. So please use those links if you want to support me and my creativity at zero extra cost to you. Alright, so that was pretty much it for this review, and I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, definitely hit that like button, it really helps me out a lot. And if you're new here, definitely subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on a single upload. So this is me, Rohit, signing off. I'll see you guys in my next video, and thank you so much for watching.